Hi, so today I'm going to talk about choices, and this is Choices Part 2. I did an intro to choices down below, and I highly suggest you watch it. You can watch it after this one if you really want to get into making strong choices. And it's called Intro Choices. I'm going to talk about strong choices today. This is the biggest and probably the most important part of elevating your skill set. So after you have a nice sense of playing the objective, the need of the character, and you know what the genre is, and you have some solid ideas of where your character lives emotionally, and you're exploring the actions and behavior of the role. What I've discovered, the difference between a really strong performance and a weaker performance is the choice that you make. Now, a lot of actors are afraid to make choices, and so what happens is they kind of walk along the fence. They're kind of in the middle. They're neither going to one extreme or the other extreme. And I don't even like to use the word extreme now that I think about it. It's just they're not even tipping into one opinion or another opinion. So they just stand and try to walk it in the middle. And if you walk a role in the middle, it really is going to be boring. I mean, think of a game and watch, like imagine a bunch of basketball players trying to be really safe and not injure themselves. Or football players just like playing it safe so that they don't hurt themselves or don't take a risk. So does that mean in acting when you take a risk you're going to hurt yourself? No. But this is the thing, when you take a risk in acting, you're going to be vulnerable. And in, of course, sports, in football or basketball, vulnerability is taking physical risk. But in acting, it's taking an emotional risk. And so you allow yourself to tip into an opinion or an experience of the role. Now there's a kind of misinformation about emotion in the field. A lot of different teachings and worlds say never talk about emotion, never talk about emotion. We know the main rule is, and this is true, you cannot act an emotion. You never try to act out an emotion. You have to motivate an emotion. And your character feels motivated to feel. Now, in life, this is basically how feelings work and how actions work. We first have a sensory experience, like when you're a little baby and you are cold and you don't know what that feeling is and it's uncomfortable, so you might cry. You have a sensory experience of the cold. It doesn't feel good. And then a response comes from that, of knowing that it doesn't feel good. Now, there might be babies that like the cold, and so they may laugh. We start with a sensory experience, which is a taste, touch, smell, see, hear. Like, let's say you go into a drugstore, and it's in the middle of the night. You park, and you're going into the drugstore, and all of a sudden you think, is this safe or it's not safe? You know, I know that in the middle of the night when I go to help a friend and I'm in a not so great area of Los Angeles, I might think, is this safe or unsafe? And if it's not safe, I will take upon myself the things I might put on a big jacket and button it up to my neck. And I might do a lot of different things to make sure that I'm, not noticeable so that I can go in and come out. But all of that is motivated by my feeling about it not being safe. So our feelings motivate our actions. Somebody might be conflicted with this idea and say, well, when I kiss that boy or when I kiss that girl, it just came, I just did it, I didn't think about it. Well, I promise you in the back of your mind, there was a desire in you that was a sensory image of how wonderful it would feel to kiss them. So that moment was, is this going to be good or bad? Or will I like this or not like this? These experiences, these urges we feel are instincts from inside that come from a thought that moves to a feeling, that moves to an action. I'm going to say that again because I ran out of air. The feelings within us start with a sensory experience with an image. Might not be a visual in our mind, but it might be a sense in our body that moves to a feeling, that moves to an action. And that's what we're trying to encourage is for you to jump on your instincts, and your instincts come from a gut feeling in you. And you don't have to articulate it or explain it, but it happens, and it motivates your actions. Now, you can come from just everything's an action, but the reality of life is that most everything we do is a sensory experience. It begins as a sensory experience and a desire within that experience. Objectives are really important. Like, what would it look like? What would it feel like to have what I want? So I created the Life Emotion app, and also there's Life Emotion cards. And these are definitions of emotions, and they're actually motivators. Every single one of the definitions not only explains why somebody might feel this, but it also allows them to motivate that feeling so that we start building our emotional range. I don't talk enough about this app, but everybody that has it and people that have the cards always, reach out to me and to let me know how much they've helped them. Or an actress just the other day told me that they saved her life on set. So, everybody works differently. And if you were ingrained to never ever talk emotion and you're getting good results, then this might not apply to you. But to those young actors that do a lot of the emotional lifting, are leading women and leading men who have to, basically what I had to do when I was a young actor, kiss, slap, and cry. And you have to go to a lot of emotion, you have to lift a lot of emotional weight. You want to work on your motivation to feel. Why you feel what you feel, how you feel it, and what's going on in you. And what are your fears, or what are your hopes, or what are your dreams? Every character has fantasies. So to make a strong, bold choice is usually to allow your vulnerability to come through. That's the strongest choice. How does that help you if you're playing a character that isn't vulnerable? Let me help you with that. Every character is vulnerable. Every character has a hunger within them that feels like something's missing, or they have an appetite to have. And so even if your character is more aggressive, and you have to show the boldness of the anger or the fierceness of your emotions on a much more intense scale without feeling the sadness or the grief or the inner reflection of a vulnerable character. You're still going for the strongest choice, and it's still an emotional choice. Feeling aggressive is an emotional choice. And the beauty of exploring these different widespread choices you have is you can actually, when you allow yourself to explore your emotional range or your emotional life on the page, when you allow yourself to, you'll find layers. And those layers are, every casting director I know has said they love actors that have layers. So how do we build those layers? And then making that strong choice, that bold choice. The litmus test for the bold choice is also, does it correlate to what's on the page and what's needed and wanted? Does it correlate to the genre? And are you living into that genre? And does it correlate to the climax of the piece? Does it ask the most of you in the climax of that scene? Can you bring more to that climax? That would be also a strong choice. So enjoy these strong choices that you're making and exploring, and you have to explore to make a strong choice. It doesn't come from your head. It comes from working on your feet. And that's the other thing. Pick up the script and play. And a stronger choice will emerge with that play. Hi, I'm Kimberly Jentzen. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe. Take the journey.